hype, 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 hype! Yo, you clicked the video so you know what it is. It's hype. That's what it is. RWBY Volume 6 trailer is out. I saw that it was out because I saw that the SOS Bros have a reaction to it, and I did not watch their reaction to it because I want to go into this blind, I want to film a reaction to it and do it. But shoutouts to them, by the way. They are one of my bigger inspirations as a channel. You can probably tell in some ways that they inspire my channel. But anyway, this is on the wrong way. All right, before we get into, wait, it's not on the wrong way. Now it's on the wrong way. That's why it feels so weird. Why does it feel so weird? Okay, there we go. There we go. Now it's all good. Okay. So, you know, check out their reaction. It's probably pretty darn good. I'm gonna be watching it as soon as I finish recording this, basically. But before we get into this, let me tell you about me and RWBY. Because I've got a long relationship with RWBY, and it's not something that I've really talked about on the channel. I've sort of made references to it in some of my other videos and stuff like that, but I started this channel well after Season 5 had finished. And as always, I am never going to fake reactions to anything. Not gonna happen. So me and RWBY, I've been watching RWBY when it airs since Season 1. I got into it pretty early. I'm not gonna say that I was like, right there during episode 1, yeah, no. I got into it pretty early. I've always been kind of a fan of Rooster Teeth and their products. RWBY has a very special place in my heart, although I stopped watching around season 12, 13, somewhere around there. Yeah, Red vs. Blue was pretty big for me when I was just a little baby Teeaboo. I know that at one point, I went through quite a bit of rigmarole to rip the audio track from the first couple of seasons, and I would listen to the audio track from the first season or two before I went to bed, and like I would go to sleep listening to that. So like, hey, yeah, you ever wonder why we're here? Yeah, it's one of life's great mysteries, isn't it? It's like ingrained into my brain. But yeah, I had quite a history with RWBY and Rooster Teeth, and so when they came out with this new thing, and I heard about it, and I heard about Monty, and like put all the pieces together, I started watching it. And at first, I had the same reaction that most people have to the first couple of episodes of RWBY, which is like, huh? This is kinda, huh? But then it did that thing that RWBY does, and it sort of sunk its Nevermore claws into me, and pulled me in. And a big part of that has to be, have to give shout-outs to Jeff and Casey Williams, because they produce some amazing music, and the soundtrack makes the show. It really does. Of course, the early seasons, the soundtrack and the fight choreography make the show, and then the characters make the show, and it just gets better. Now, I stay away from fandoms. Let me put it that way. I stay away from fandoms. I'm now public, so I'm not going to be able to stay away from fandoms. But I'm not involved in the RWBY fandom. I don't follow theory threads or shipping threads. I don't really ship characters. You might hear me say like, oh, I ship that. It's just, it's kind of half jokey. I don't really do that. That's not my thing. I like to analyze stuff. I like to talk about stories. I like to talk about cool things that I notice in animation and music and art and everything. That's me. And RWBY's sort of a cool thing, and it's something close to my heart. Something that I really enjoy. I mean, the soundtrack. Oh, the soundtrack. I have the whole soundtrack. I have had... It's a constant on things that I listen to. There are just certain songs that fit certain scenarios, you know? Like Armed and Ready. Armed and Ready is a song that fits certain scenarios. It's just something you want to listen to sometimes. Um, yeah, just good. It's just good. It's good. So I've had a long history with RWBY, and I've gotten a few other people into RWBY. Um, my roommate and closest friend in college, I got into RWBY. Uh, and then another close friend of mine in college, I got into RWBY. It was pretty funny. We had a projector in college. We bought a projector and did stuff without our RA knowing and had it attached to our ceiling and stuff like that. And actually, this white thing behind me is a projector screen. It's a what do I call it? It's a motorized projector screen. I can make it go up and I can make it go down. I'm just using it as a backdrop because it's big and it's white and it works. But yeah, that's the projector screen. Uh, we had a projector, and I got into RWBY. And at a certain point, once you've gotten into RWBY, you try to show other people RWBY, and you have to like prepare them. You have to be like, look, just give it a chance. Come on, just like give it a shot. Ignore the animation in like the first episode. Just ignore it. You'll get into it. I promise. As soon as they get to the forest, as soon as like, oh, as soon as they fight that Nevermore, you're gonna be in. I promise. I swear. And that's what I did with. Oh, whoa, whoops. That's what I did with my roommate. And at this point, we had built up a bit of trust when it came to shows. Like, I introduced him to anime. Period. He's Korean, and it's actually really funny. There's a parallel between us and the characters in Kuroko no Basuke, and that was one of the shows that we watched together. But I'm short. I'm 5'5". That's a me. I'm a little guy. Uh, depending on diet and where I am in bulking cutting, I'm like 120 to 130 pounds. I'm small. I'm a little guy. And he is like 5'11", Korean, and big. Like, big. And we got into lifting together. We did a bunch of stuff together. Best friends through college, for sure. But big guy, and my deal was I was always really scrawny, and so I was trying to gain weight. And when he grew up, he was quite overweight, and so he was always trying to lose weight. And we started lifting together. It's kind of an odd pairing because he can outlift me like nobody's business, like nobody's business. I mean, he squats about twice what I do, which is sensible because he weighs about twice what I do. Anyway, we got into all these things together, and so we kind of look like the two main characters from Kuroko no Basuke, like the short, sort of blue-haired skinny kid, and then the really big, like spiky-haired Korean guy. um, yeah, fun parallel. But anyway, we built up some trust when it came to shows, and when he came into college, he had grown up most of his childhood in Korea, and then his adolescence in Virginia, and in during his adolescent period, he was sort of he hung out with a lot of hood kids, and so he had sort of a hood mentality toward American stuff, right? But he had never been introduced to anime and a bunch of other American media, films, stuff like that. And I was obsessed with anime and American media and films and anime and Japanese media and American media and films and stuff like that. So I started showing him stuff, and we started getting into stuff. We watched all of Hajime no Ippo together, like rooting along for Ippo, and yeah, we watched a ton of stuff. And we started to watch RWBY, or I started to get him into RWBY. I had already seen everything up to whatever was airing at that point. It was pretty far along. I think it was in second season by then. But I tried to get him into it. And so we were watching it on the projector, and our other two roommates come in, and they're sort of more classic American jockey types. So they come in and watch and see us watching this show with like girls. And they laughed at us. They laughed. But we were watching a couple episodes, and they're seeing bits of it, you know, through the door because it's on the projector, it's on the big screen, and they're hearing it, and they're hearing the soundtrack because they're speakers. And on the Nevermore episode, one of them comes in and sits down. He's like, "All right, what the hell's going on? Tell me what's up. I'm watching this." And eventually the other one joined in too, and we got into it together. It was good. All of this is just to say, I've got a long history with RWBY, and I love this show. I really do. When season 5 was about to air, I went back to the beginning and I watched it all the way through up through season 4 to prepare for season 5 and get it, you know, refamiliarized in my heart. And then season 5 aired, and when season 5 finished, I went back to the beginning and I watched it all the way up through season 5 because I wanted to. Because there's something about this show that makes me feel good. And again, a lot of it has to do with the soundtrack. There's a feeling to the show, and it's what's captured so many people's hearts and what makes RWBY kind of special. And a part of that is that it's an American animation, and we don't get those very often. We don't get American animation that is not children's cartoons very often. There are some examples, I know. There are things like Gravity Falls and Steven Universe and Samurai Jack, and there are examples, certainly. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. And Avatar, duh, of course, Avatar. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but it doesn't happen that often. And RWBY's a sort of a breakout hit for American animation, and it feels good to have a little bit of that. Like, yeah, we could do something. Anyway, I love the crap out of RWBY, and it makes me feel feels. I'm attached to it. So I'm going to be watching it when it's airing. If I'm going to be watching it while it's airing, I might as well film myself watching it while it's airing, and I might as well share my experience with you guys. That's it. Let's try and stay away from the fandom-y type stuff in the comments, guys. I don't want it. Now I'm not gonna remove comments from my videos. I'm not going to block people or whatever you can do. I don't even know. Because I don't care. I want discussion to happen. But fandom-y type arguments, let's stay away from that. In general. Let's stay away from it. If possible. I know it'll happen anyway, but let's stay away from it. I want to just enjoy this. Okay? Alright. So, we've got a minute and a half of RWBY. I've already filmed 13 minutes of me talking about how much I love RWBY and giving you random shit about my college life. Alright. RWBY Volume 6 trailer. RWBY left off at an interesting place. At a the world is not good cliffhanger. And it's done this a couple times now. It's gone dark a couple times. And the last couple of seasons have been significantly darker and more mature in some ways than the early ones. Which is great. I quite like it. But we're in kind of a dark place. Things at Haven did not go well for the crew. I don't know what people like. I'm so far out of the fandom. I don't even know what people call them. Do they call them the Crewbie? I think they do. I think I've seen that somewhere. Whatever. Oh, and if you want to know, best girl is Weiss. Yeah. Yep. That's it. If you want to argue that point, I will just say this: de gustibus non est disputandum. There is no accounting and no arguing over taste. That is all. Okay? I like Weiss. I think she has... Yang is making a play for it, for strong character, just with the arm thing and all of that jazz. But I think Weiss has the most interesting and relatable character arc so far. Going from her prissy bitchy self to her nicer prissy bitchy self. She's best girl. For me. For me. They're all best girls in my heart, though. They all are. And of course, Jean is best boy. Like, there's no competition there. Yeah, like, who's gonna make a run for that Sun? No. I like him, but no. Yeah, no. No. Nope. Twice. Anyway. Let's see what they've got in store for us. Got a minute and a half. That's all we've got. I don't actually know when it airs. I'm gonna push the button. I'm probably gonna watch this twice.
It's important not to lose sight of what drives us. Love. Justice.
Okay.
Reverence.
Is that...
But the moment you put your desires before my own,
uh-oh. Yeah.
They will be lost to you.
Ooh.
This isn't a threat.
Oh.
This is simply the truth.
Oh, I thought she was gonna say it's a promise, but nope, just the truth. I'm watching this in low resolution. Whoops. We'll go back through it in higher res.
What's the plan, RWBY?
Don't let anyone else die!
It's a good plan, RWBY. October 27th, so there we go. Anything else here? Just the card. Okay, so it's actually a minute and... minute and 10 seconds. Yeah, I forgot that I had this on, like, 480p. Whoops! I just did that because I was like, rendering at the same time I was watching things, and I want to minimize, usage by browser of system resources while rendering things. Let's do it again. In 1080p. Oh, that's much prettier. They have definitely improved the engine. And then we'll probably watch it again slower.
It's important not to lose sight of what drives us.
With the goggles.
Love. Justice. Reverence. But the moment you put your desires before my own, they will be lost to you. This isn't a threat.
Simply the truth.
This is simply the truth.
What's the plan, RWBY?
Don't let anyone else die!
Okay. Slower. And volume. Nope. Off. Yep. Okay. Much prettier. They have definitely upped their engine's game. And they have consistently, every season, improved the look and gained the ability to do new things. Comes with increasing the team size, So this character appears in quite a number of the shots. Can you see my cursor? You cannot. Let me fix that quickly. Bonk. Okay, now you can see my cursor? Yes, good. Okay, this character appears in quite a number of shots. We've got no new outfits as far as I can tell. Everyone's in their old get-ups. This character, old goggles lady. Don't know anything about her. Oops. Okay. I want to watch them walk. Because something that's always been an issue for the RWBY crew has been walking CG models. It's difficult to do well. They've been very careful to avoid clipping, which is nice, because clipping has also been an issue in the past. Blake has the most visible legs, and looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I'm not talking about looks pretty good, because she does, but looks pretty good. This is a slightly different model, as far as I can tell. Her tights have cuts in them. Slightly different. She's wearing a scarf. Interesting. I don't know Nora's model well enough to know, and I'm not sure about Yang. I think she's normal. Okay. I think they've improved the hair rendering as well. Okay. Justice. So we're definitely talking about Adam here. That is a lot of dead White Fang members. And this is the scene in the throne room, so it's quite possible that we're still looking at that scene. We see him scream later in frustration. I don't know. I don't know. This is strange. Reverence. What characters have we seen so far that can fly or float? As far as I know, Cinder. Let me know if you know of any other characters that we know can float, can defy gravity. I feel like in their final battle, Ozpin kind of came close. He jumped higher than humanly possible, certainly. But as far as flying or floating unassisted, this doesn't make sense to be Ozpin or Oscar. I'm thinking it could be one of Salem's other peeps. It looks like a man's garb, but that's just an assumption. All we get to see are these nondescript legs and cloak. So, really don't know. Really don't know. If anyone has an idea or knows, like, is this thing over here just a rock? Or is it a hinty clue? Woo! I don't know. If anyone has ideas about who floating person is, let me know. I'm curious. I'm certainly curious. Okay, and then we've got Salem being Salem. Yep. Don't put yourself above me. So, that, with this scene, implies to me that Emerald is finally going to turn. She has been showing some signs of being willing to turn and being a little bit shocked by some of the lengths to which Salem will go to bring her evil plan to fruition. So this looks like a confrontation moment between them. He is definitely freaking out. He's got blood on him. Got this cut on his cheek. Yeah, he looks angry. but hard to say. We get this, and they're those, I forget what they're called, the hippogriff things. Inside there, those are some other students. This train is going to be something. Okay, this is... I mean, that's 99.9999... Yeah, it's RWBY, okay. I was just seeing particles flying off of it, and then I saw that they were definitely flower petals. I don't see any characters of import in the background. He's slicing... They're dicing. Don't see anything crazy. RWBY with a scythe. Zero clipping. Yeah. Actually, wait. That might be... it doesn't matter. It could be just perspective. Cloth is hard anyway. That was daringly close to an upskirt. These people seem interesting. It seems like there's another faction at play, and this is a character hiding themselves. Money on the table. She's fat and eating more. This is definitely a faction, these purple people. Purple people eaters. Interesting. Got this thing, which almost looks like a lamp. Oh, it must be one of the thingamajigs, the artifact things. What are they called? They called artifacts? No, the blank of knowledge, the blank of... Relics. Relics. I knew artifact didn't sound right. Annie's got herself a bag. She chicks, and that's good. Emerald looking scared. That fear on Emerald's face is more like she's been given a duty that she doesn't want to take on. Perhaps that duty is to become one of the maidens. Or to kill some... No, Salem's shaking her head. Wait, is she shaking her head? It's hard to tell if she's looking... Yeah, the head doesn't go back the other direction. Okay, so she's just turning to look at her. He has cut through the throne, or the chair. Cut off one of the spear things. And then he screams in frustration or rage. Oscar falls. And they look shocked. She's ready to fight. That's interesting. Yang is angry. RWBY is... and Weiss is in a stance as well. Or close to it. She's not quite in stance. RWBY is horrified. He's reaching out to RWBY or to the relic. But Blake is ready to attack him. And Yang is not happy. What color were his eyes when he fell? Those are normal Oscar eyes, I think. Wow, her goggles create two halves of a smiley face. Of a :D face. Beads. Shoulder armor pad things. Part of her character. And she's got this, staff. Is she the Winter Maiden? She could be a maiden. An old maiden. Her staff has a skull on top. And it's got purple, and that is the shade of purple of that faction that we saw here. Yep, that's that same purple. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. Looks like this is a panic moment. Resolved. Smiling Nora. Do a flingy thingy. Spinny flippy flingy thingy. And then we jump into this, which is a different RWBY merge with someone else than we've seen before. Based on the color, I would guess Weiss. We've seen her merge with Nora, and it was not this color. Was there a frame of something else there? No. Ozpin screaming. What does he scream? Sorry. No! He screams no. Okay. Back down to 0.5. He screams no, and then we shoot to Salem teleporting closer to us. Very classic effect. There's a black frame in there, and then another, and she's closer and closer, reaching out toward the camera. And then we get this. What's the plan, RWBY? Don't let anyone else die. I don't see any changes to weaponry or costume, except perhaps the scuffs on her tights. Yep. I figure it has to, the old lady has to be the Winter Maiden. Okay. One more time, normal speed to put it all together.
It's important not to lose sight of what drives us. Love.
Yang's purple, that purple thing is a new addition to her character model. And it is, again, the same purple as that other faction. Perhaps they are the guards of the Winter Maiden? Perhaps this is all taking place in, what is it? It's not Mistral, it's... Is it Mistral? Countries, RWBY. Yep, kingdoms. It would be in Atlas. What's the one? Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna assume that they're in Atlas based on the. They always give a different color scheme to the general people's clothing, sort of like Avatar in that regard. You know, this lady looks like she's Earth Kingdom, but back here we see these white-haired people in light blue garb. That seems like Iceland clothing.
Justice.
Okay.
Reverence.
This scene is the one that really gets me.
But the moment
intrigued.
you put your desires before my own,
Don't do it.
they will be lost to you. This isn't a threat. This is simply the truth.
What's the plan, RWBY?
Don't let anyone else die!
They've definitely improved the hair. Specifically, RWBY's in this shot.
Don't let anyone else die!
Yeah, they've got some extra layers of color in there. It's nice. Okie dokie. So, primary questions are: who the lady? Who she be? I'm gonna guess Winter Maiden until there's more evidence. Guessing it's a Winter Maiden. Question number 2. Where's our setting? Because we're clearly going to be going after another relic to prevent Salem from reaching her goals. Seems pretty likely that none of the characters that we've met so far are going to be able to stand up to Cinder, because her power level is way too high. But that could change. And RWBY is, of course, she's got her Silver Eye trump card. So, who the lady? Where we at? Who dis? And why dat? Why dat? Who the lady? Who dat? Why dis? And where we at? Those are my main questions. And what happened to Oscar? What did Oscar do? Because they are mad. And they're not evenly mad. Blake looks horrified. RWBY looks horrified. Blake is ready to fight, though. Yang is definitely angry. And Weiss is kind of haughty angry, but ready to fight. What did Oscar do? Or what did they just find out that Ozpin has done in the past? Well, not gonna find out until October 27th. Got 11 days. Okie dokie. RWBY Volume 6 trailer is out. Interesting. Very interesting. Hype, hype, hype. Alright, I'm not going to speculate too far. I've already said what I think is going on. They seem to be traveling with this old woman, who I would guess is the Winter Maiden, and seems closest to Yang in some ways. Yang has this new purple thing, which matches the group's purple thing. This new faction that I assume is a new faction, and I assume is related to her in some way. I believe she's probably the Winter Maiden. Makes sense as her character design, but she could be anybody. What's up with the train? I don't know. What's up with any of the other stuff? I don't know. There aren't too many hints. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you caught anything that I missed. And specifically, if you have any clue about Floaty Person. Because that is the biggest mystery in my mind so far. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. I've been Teeaboo. This has been the RWBY Volume 6 trailer. Keep an eye out for RWBY. I will be watching it when it airs. Schedule will be damned. It's RWBY. Yeah. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have, and I hope to catch you in the first episode. Peace.